Wednesday night. It is Ben and Bananas, and we will absolutely get into UFC Vegas 81. Barboza versus Sadiq Yusuff, a great fight. A lot of great fights on the main card. We will get into it, right, El? Right, Ryan? Guys, I'm Dave Van Auken. This is Fight Bananas. This is Ben and Bananas. Let me introduce the fight and the grit, the ruthless one, El Dawson. El, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. I always say it, the heart and the soul of the show, the cornerman, the mighty Ryan Quinn. Ryan, how you doing, brother?
Speaking of heart, my pumping out of my chest with all these announcements the last few hours.
There we go. All right, there we go. There we go. That's what we're going to talk about, guys. We usually don't do this on this show. We will be doing this every Tuesday live, the Fight Bananas live show for hours. But guys, it is so big and so humongous. I think we're going to do this for the first 10, 15 minutes at least on this show. Guys, maybe Gray had a great tweet on our Texan thread that we do. Is this the Chimaev curse? This card is upside down and inside out. I'm going to show what it's all about. Yes, there's a 90s rapping phrase right there. We have a new main event. Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev. The rematch is no more. We have another rematch. We have Alexander Volkanovski. Hand surgery. Doesn't matter. Just becoming a dad a couple weeks ago. Doesn't matter. He's fighting Islam Makhachev, and I think maybe the fight of the year, a rematch, 10 months in the making. First of all, when you heard this, let's start with L, ladies first. When you kind of started, the news kind of happened last night, and then through the night and this morning, everything was finalized. When you first got this news, were you disappointed, happy? Take us down this road.
I'm happy either way. I'm absolutely happy to watch Islam and Charles fight several times, and I'm definitely happy to see Volk fight Islam again. I've said before, I'm not interested in seeing Volk fight anybody at 145 right now unless it's Ilia Topuria, because we know what happens. And we saw Islam look somewhat mortal in their first fight. Now, do I think this being in Abu Dhabi without the travel, all those things help Islam? I know we'll get into that more later, but I still think Islam is going to get it done. But it's still a really fascinating matchup because Volk did so much better than anyone else had done up to that point.
Okay. Ryan, same kind of question. Oliveira, let me just ask that. When Oliveira you saw the cut and he was out of the fight, what's your first gut reaction?
Right here. Yo. I got to be honest. I'm more happy that this is happening this way. That I was not in the mood for another 3-4 month build up to Volk Makhachev rematch.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is much more fascinating, much more dynamic. I think that this allows, like you said, El, this now allows to give a little bit of life to the featherweight division as well. They can have that interim title fight, and it's just a little different. It's just a little different of a holdup now, and this is really fascinating. Like, he's the replacement. He's coming back. Back from the dead. Like Batman versus Bane, something like that. There's a lot of other juice here. Yes, I'm forgetting about Charles. I was looking forward to that fight. I love watching Charles fight. He'll get back in. He'll get winner of this. Maybe Volk wins, and then it's Volk versus Charles, which is fantastic.
Awesome.
Or also there's other. El, maybe you can't even speak to this, but I remember I saw Mateus Gamrot was not happy that he got pushed over, and he was going out there. I'm sure that
kind of surprised, to be honest. Yeah,
I was upset for him because that's messed up. He was the replacement, and we met replacement day of. Come on, but let's face it, this is the fight.
This is a big fight. This is the bigger fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it was like Christmas morning. I felt like we just opened up. No, that was good. I think we just opened up 7 presents, and I kind of want to go back a little bit. You mentioned Gamrot. Let's kind of go there, guys. They literally Volkanovski is going to get it done. I like that. Good comment, Shane. Keep him coming, Shane Craig, with a great comment. We just mentioned Fight Bananas. We made a post about it. Gamrot is the backup fighter. He's literally flying to Abu Dhabi. Where do you guys are on that? Like, I don't want to use the word fair. Fair is a horrible word, especially in mixed martial arts, especially with the UFC. I'm not going to use that word fair. But where are you guys on Gamrot? If they, let's just kind of use a spade. If they use Gamrot now, then there is absolutely no backup fighter. And if something happens to one of them or one of them with weight, then the whole fight card is dead. Like, where are we on that? You don't want to use the backup fighter 10 days too early and something happens to them and training, all that being said. So let's talk about Gamrot for a minute. We brought him up. Elle, let's start with you. Where are you at with Gamrot and of all that?
I do think because he was supposed to be the backup fighter, the fair thing to do would have been for him to get that spot, and then Volk would be the backup fighter, but that would look kind of nuts.
Funny. Yeah.
For a current champion to be a backup. While the number...
Let's be honest. Volk says no to that.
Oh, yeah. No, he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it.
Yeah, let's be honest. He says no. But let's be honest. Gaethje says no. Poirier says no. Like, they're almost, let's be honest, the top 10 probably says no to being the backup of Gamrot and Makhachev.
This makes sense. Like, it's unfortunate for him that he didn't immediately get that spot. Like, and it was crazy because if Charles had pulled out 8 days later, it'd be Gamrot's spot, you know?
It would be.
So it just, like, you couldn't have held on just a little bit longer, you know? Because we would have loved to see our guy in there for sure, but this does make more sense. It does.
Yeah. Anything on that, Ryan?
I mean, no, that's it. Like Volk's not backing up anybody.
Yeah.
A champion in another division is not backing up.
He might be the pound for pound best fighter in the world. He's not the backup to anyone.
Hopefully the UFC made good, so to speak, with Gamrot on this, you know. But it really sucks. It's just this is the way it unfolded, you know. It happens. But anyway, I know we got more to discuss.
Yeah, more to discuss. And real quick, Beaver Pavlovich, I told you you're going to win the shirt on the Fight Banana Show. You are going to win the shirt. Can you message us on Instagram, your address, your shirt size? You need to contact us on Instagram. Get with us. I'm sending you a shirt with Money Moicano. I bought you a shirt yesterday. It's literally coming to me. I'm going to mail it to you. You just got to get with us. I am mailing you a free Money Moicano shirt. There you go. But you got to message us on my socials or on Fight Banana social so we can get it to you. There you go. Free shirt. You won. Congratulations.
Before I forget, I need to do a selfish plug. Right before this video, I recorded adjustments to be made for Volk and Makhachev alike. I'm going to post that video tomorrow on my page. Please check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, real quick. Another name you just said. I'm so happy. And I wasn't going to go here. And I know we're 8 minutes. And guys, I'm sorry. I don't know if you guys have a 30 or 45 minute kind of time tonight. And I'm sorry, UFC Vegas 81 will be super quick, maybe analytical. I'm picking it. Here's like the most underrated name out of all this. And I thought about it. I cannot wait to Tuesday on the Fight Banana Show to go all in. We have so much time, Elle. I'm so pumped. You're going to join us at the beginning at 1 p.m. sharp Tuesday Eastern time. Max Holloway. Like, so many people say, Max Holloway move up weight, or Max Holloway do this, Max Holloway this. So much time sometimes in life, guys. And I tell my kids this, sometimes the most important thing, patience. Sometimes just keep on going, keep on shoveling, go in the backyard, keep on working, keep on being good. You just never know what opportunities come. Guys, it could be January in Toronto. The main event could be Poirier versus Max Holloway for the interim featherweight championship. For one, that fight is awesome. Like, come on, the fight poster and just the fight itself. Give me that for 25 minutes. Poirier versus Max Holloway in a stand-up war. That is mind-blowing. I cannot wait. I don't know which way I'm leaning right off the rip on that. But how many times have we heard, oh, Max Holloway's got to move up in weight. He can't fight, can't fight for a championship because Volkanovski's there and all that stuff. There's just so much of that. So I just think it's crazy that I just think it's with perseverance and all that. I just think I'm happy for Max Holloway. Just keep on doing the thing. He had a great win against the Korean Zombie in one of the moments of the year and going overseas and doing that, and him fighting, maybe for a championship for the first pay-per-view of the year, him headlining the show.
Yeah, I'd love to see that fight. That would be absolute fireworks. And that would be the only way I would want to see Max fight Poirier. Because if you give Poirier to Max right now and Max wins, you lose another contender. But if it's for an interim title, that's a different story. Then Max, who's beloved by everybody, like
right.
you can't not love Max Holloway, gets his belt back, even if it's just an interim. And then maybe we don't really want to see him fight Volk again, but if it's with an interim belt, it's like, okay, yeah, we'll watch that one more time because Max got that belt back. You know, it would be, honestly, that would be the perfect scenario for the featherweight division at this point in time.
It would. And the best part, I thought about this, I swear it's so funny. The best part, Max somehow defeats Volkanovski the 4th time. Then they got to run it back a 5th time because Max is like the undisputed champion. And it's like, Volk's like, dude, I beat him 3 damn times already. Like, how crazy would that be in this vicious world? But maybe Volk is a 155er. Maybe he's just like, guys, the weight cut, I'm older. I think he is 35 years old. You know, maybe he's getting towards the end of the run. Like, who knows? But just a crazy world we're living in right now. We haven't even mentioned guys, we got to go 2 minutes here. Kamaru Usman out of nowhere is fighting Khamzat Chimaev in the middleweight division. Like, just say that out loud right now. This is 2023 right now. How cool is this? Ryan, let's start with you. When you saw that fight poster or when you saw Costa was out of it, did you think of Usman? Who did you think of? And when you saw this fight poster, how great of a fight? I love this fight more than the Costa one.
I'm digesting it still.
Okay.
I saw the thing about the surgery like a couple days ago. I think, and I was like, oh, so he's taking the fight, whatever. But he's just going to be there, and he's going to be Paulo, whatever. So the air was out of that balloon for me. So it's not even so much that it's like it was here and it's coming here now. Like it was kind of here, and then when he finally pulled out and they put Usman in, which I'm sure that he was been in the loop, like things might happen. And I love it. I love it. I hope that Usman has trained himself up to middleweight, just to be more prepared for this fight. But we wanted to see this fight for a couple of years now. And now, again, it's being thrown in our lap. So another fight, going to be a middleweight contender fight. Fantastic. I can't see why it wouldn't be. And it's just more kudos UFC.
Ella, anything on this?
No, I'm right there with Ryan. Like this fight was supposed to happen at 70. Like we really thought we were going to get that. And we haven't really seen Khamzat, fight like that highest level of pure wrestling. And I think that's interesting. I do think that I've heard Usman has had some problems with his hips and his knees. I don't know if we're going to get the best Usman, which kind of bums me out because, man, I would have loved to seen him like prime Usman versus like this up-and-comer Khamzat, but I still think it's a really fun fight. Maybe one of the things for Usman is not cutting the weight. Maybe that helps him stay a little bit healthier, not being so depleted through his camp, because he's certainly not a small welterweight. So maybe we get to see a rebirth for him at middleweight. I've heard that supposedly the winner of this gets the next title shot. Which
not supposedly. Dana White said finalized. That's it.
He
Whoever wins.
said that?
Yeah, Chimaev or Usman's fighting Strickland. And this is a whole nother story discussion we're going to talk about on Tuesday. DDP was going to literally fight Izzy. He is just like out of the picture. He is healthy now. He is out. Chimaev or Usman. Kamaru Usman, a welterweight, is going to take this fight on 10 days. And just say if he catches Chimaev, he is going to fight Strickland for the middleweight championship. Like, what world are we living in right now? It's bananas. Yeah. It's crazy. It's bananas.
It is. It's the Chimaev curse. He wreaks havoc on every card, but it's not a bad.
Instead of saying I kill people, you should say I kill fight cards.
I kill fight cards. And Elle, you had a great point. This is why I admire you so much here in the anything you say MMA. I think Usman not cutting down to 170 is a big thing. One, just the age and how much he's done the cut and all that stuff. And for sure, the knee, the hip, we have all heard that for sure. That right knee is not what it once was at 29 years old. It is what it is. But him, 185 to 170 is 186 to 170 because he was fighting championship fights. That's 16 pounds. I don't have to tell anyone in the world. That is gigantic. That is huge. And yes, it's not prime Usman. For sure, it's not. But a veteran, a champion, a wrestler, power, ring IQ. This is great. I'm pumped. I like this fight more than Costa. I really do. I'm pumped on this fight.
I do too.
All right. We went 15 minutes. I told you we were going to go 10, 15 minutes on it. It's so damn good. UFC 294. It's next week. We will do Ben and Bananas next Wednesday night. That pay-per-view, guys, by the way, I'm keep on saying it. It's during the day. It's 2 p.m. Eastern time. It's not a night pay-per-view. It's in Abu Dhabi, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you get your show. Talking about Eastern time, Ben and Banana, Fight Bananas live 1 to 3. L's going to join me right off the rip, 1 p.m. Eastern time next Tuesday. Let's get into it, guys. Best bet, UFC Vegas 81, headline by Sadiq Yusuff versus Edson Barboza. L, ladies first, what is your best bet on this fight card?
I know we're going to get into this a little bit more later, so I won't do my full breakdown of the main event, but I have the main event going the under. The under was 3.5 rounds, which I thought was interesting because I feel like typically we see 1, 2.5. We'll see 4.5. But it's kind of right in the middle, which is this is a hard one to pick because sometimes you'll see it go just a little bit over, just a little bit under the 3.5 rounds. But man, both these guys just have immense power, explosiveness, and I expect them both to expend a lot of energy. I think that we might see both guys slow down. I expect Sadiq to maybe have a little bit of an advantage with the cardio, just because he's a little. I think he'll be efficient with his grappling. This fight is so interesting because if Sadiq Yusuff wrestles heavy, he's such an explosive guy, that makes it a totally different fight than if he decides to stand and trade with Edson Barboza, who is just, a beautifully talented kickboxer, so technical, so explosive, so powerful. I think there's a lot of value in that under 3.5 rounds.
Okay, I like it. Sadiq Yusuff, Barboza under 3.5. Ryan Quinn, my man, best bet on the board. UFC Vegas 81. Take it away.
I like TJ Brown over Darren Elkins. I think that, especially at this point, not that Darren was ever a clean fighter. I think that TJ is a cleaner fighter, and at this point in his career, Darren he starts to weather and slow down a little bit towards the end with that balls out style he's got. I think that TJ is just going to control that. He's going to be able to keep himself safe. With both controlling on the ground as well as covering distance and movement on his feet. And it's just a clean, control the dance fight for TJ. Put it all on him.
All right, here we go. Underdog plays on UFC Vegas 81. There's a couple on the main card that I saw that I thought in the co-main and one actually it's the featured fight. I think on the Adrian Yanez as plus money. I think the kid's always got pop and as plus money. I think Jonathan's a really good fighter. It's going to be a great fight, actually. Might be the fight of the night. But Adrian Yanez at plus money, I like a lot. But what do you guys think? L. Dawson, what's your underdog play?
There's a few I really like, but man, I love Andre Petroski here. I know this is short notice for him, but I think it being so short notice and him still being such a slight underdog, I think that tells us that the odds makers, they would put him as a favorite. Was this not a short notice fight? And I think that bodes really well for him. I was actually chatting with his coach at the PI just last week, and he is in the gym, and I think he wasn't very happy with his performance against GM3. And I think he's been in there, and I expect him to come in a little bit better shape than I think other people are expecting. And man, Michel Pereira and Andre Petroski is newer to the UFC, but even then, I still think he's had a tougher strength of schedule, at least recently. Michel's got a really good win over Santiago Ponzinibbio, who's still a great fighter. But outside of that win, I don't think his strength of schedule is quite as high. Andre beat GM3. It wasn't the prettiest fight, but Gerald Meerschaert is still winning fights. He's still a dangerous guy, and he still has he still has a lot to offer in the division. I expect to see him win fights in the future as well. Wellington Turman, kind of a middle of the road guy, but Nick Maximov was supposed to be the next big thing in that division, right. And Andre Petroski looked fantastic in that fight. I think that, I think it's going to be really, really difficult to outgrind Petroski here, especially for a guy like Pereira, who just has notoriously bad cardio. I will never be able to unsee the Tristan Connolly fight. Michel Pereira essentially lost to a featherweight, got out grappled,
wasn't that crazy short notice for Connolly?
Yeah, it was nuts. That was an insane fight. He just doesn't have the fight IQ. and he expends too much energy, man. And I think with Petrosky, and it would be unless he gets knocked out, but we haven't seen Michelle Pereira knock anybody out since 2019 against Danny Roberts. So I think it's just going to be really hard to outgrind and deal with the hard pressure and the wrestling of Petrosky.
El, you said a lot of great things there for 3-4 minutes. You had me at the first 9 seconds. Petrosky did not like his performance, and the man won the fight. Like, it is hard to win fights in the UFC. I don't have to tell you that. It is hard as hell to win fights. He won and still wasn't happy. I like it. I'm going Petrosky Saturday night, UFC Vegas 81. Ryan Quinn, take it away. What underdog you like Saturday night?
Going up top, I like Edson over Sadiq. I think that Edson, especially at 145, his kryptonite is fluid and functional wrestling. Now, granted, Sadiq does have good takedowns, but they're like strong takedowns. I think that Edson, he's able to keep his range with his great kickboxing that El mentioned. He's able to create angles, and he still has those whipping leg kicks that's going to be able to slow him down. Especially, not only bet Edson, but if this fight is close, if you live line bettors, if this fight is close, either one way or the other, after round 1, put it on Edson again, because I feel he's going to start eating up this fight. He's going to create angles, and he's going to end up steamrolling, maybe even go to the knockout. But I just have him Edson winning clean. Edson winning flat out.
I like that a lot. Ryan the Quarterman Quinn putting that on the line. Barboza on the dog in the main event. All right, El Dawson, 3-fight parlay. Let's get it.
All righty. So I have, for my first leg, I have Emily Ducote winning by unanimous decision over Ashley Yoder. Yoder's coming off a long layoff, has had some injuries. She has historically struggled with the striking here. And while her jiu-jitsu is really good, her wrestling is not, and I just don't think she's going to be able to get the fight to the mat. Ducote has such clean boxing, and she has fantastic takedown defense. Lupita Godinez is a phenomenal wrestler, and she had a really hard time getting Ducote to the mat. I think she had like less than 20 seconds of control in that fight. She still won, but she didn't win the way she was expecting with the wrestling, and I just don't see how Ashley Yoder gets the takedown or beats Ducote on the feet. Ducote isn't really a finisher in the UFC. She was before, but she hasn't quite found that in the UFC. And Yoder has actually never been finished. Her toughness has gotten her to the scorecards no matter how bad of a ass beating she takes. She, even against more dangerous fighters, she always makes it to the scorecards. So I have Emily Ducote by unanimous decision. Then I have Tainara Lisboa winning inside the distance over Ravina Oliveira. It's a mouthful. Lisboa is a huge finisher. I believe like she's evenly split between knockouts and submissions. So big finisher, very well rounded. And she proves that she can finish in the UFC, not just on the regional scene. She was outstriking Jessica Rose Clark before she submitted her. Clark is obviously a veteran, has been in the sport a long time, well-rounded fighter. Oliveira is coming in for this debut on decently short notice. I think she had about a month. So not terribly short notice, but wasn't the original opponent here. And there's not a ton of recent film that I could find on her, but I found something a year ago. She just doesn't, her power and her striking is not up to par against somebody like Lisboa. And I just don't see how she gets it done here. She doesn't have like a ace up her sleeve with her grappling or anything, or her power. I feel like this is just one where a fighter took the opportunity to step up short notice, and she's going in for a reason as a big underdog. I really like the inside the distance to get some more value on Lisboa. For my third leg of my parlay, I have Edgar Chairez winning inside the distance over Daniel Lacerda. This one's kind of easy. We've already seen this fight, guys. I feel like we already know what happens. Obviously, the refs stopped the fight a little bit early. It was overturned to a no contest. But in my opinion, Chairez was well on his way to finishing the fight, regardless of the ref's decision at that point in time. And it's not like Lacerda is somebody that we expect to weather the storm and come back. He has notoriously 5 minutes of huge push in him with his cardio, and then he's done. And I think this is a really easy parlay piece. And if you add it into that parlay, it's a good way to get some value on a big favorite on this card.
I love it. So you got a big favor, you got an inside the distance, and then via UD by Dakota. So I like it. El, very nice 3-5 parlay. Nothing big. No Petrosky, no Barboza, and no Adrian Yanez, Jonathan Martinez fight. Really haven't talked about that. That's a great fight on the card.
That is a great fight.
Ryan Cornerman Quinn 3-5 parlay. You've been nailing your parlays, my man. They've just been on fire lately. What you got for us?
I'm going to put an underdog in the parlay. I'm going to put Adrian Yanez over Jonathan Martinez.
My man, there we go.
I just think that, the Rob Font loss, but I'm not going to judge his career or the type of fighter he is on here. I think that he's heavy-handed. I think his striking is a little bit more effective than Jonathan's. And I feel in those situations, those need-to-win situations, the heavy-handed pop is going to come in handy with the damage there. And then I'm going to go Chris Gutierrez over Alatang Haile. The Pedro loss, as we know, Pedro is like the most underrated ranked fighter in the world. And I just think overall he's got better striking. And, if he's able to like hang with Pedro, he's going to be all right to keep himself safe in any type of cage wrestling or grappling situations. I like that fight all day. And then I have Terrence McKinney knocking out Brandon Marat. I think that Terrence is, before we get to that part, I think that he's got better experience, better strength of schedule. And I looked at Marat's, like some of his fighters, like before the UFC, 11-20, 3-1, 0-0, 0-1. So he was kind of padded. Now he relies heavy on his KO power, but so does Terrence. And I think that with that experience, and Terrence is just more strength than Brandon. So he's going to put him in a position to get knocked out there. So I have Christian Gutierrez, Terrence by knockout, and Adrian Yanez.
I love that. I like that a lot. We got a really good question here. Let me pick it up 1 second. Doom. My buttons are a little sticky right now. Here we go. Okay. A question goes, do you think that, this is for both of you guys, do you think that Martinez and Yanez will go the distance?
I can't tell, or I would have put that in my prop. I tried to decide on that, and I can't decide.
I'm with you. I can't either. And I couldn't pick one way or the other. I kept going.
It's a tough fight. It is.
My gut said Yanez, and then I was looking at, Jonathan Martinez is on this tear right now.
Yeah.
He's kind of been flying under the radar, and I was like, man, it really, to me, it kind of is similar to the Adrian Yanez Rob Font fight, where it's just whoever implements their game first, I think wins. Whoever establishes their jab first. If Martinez can start like hammering away at the low kick first, it's a very interesting matchup. It's going to be a really good fight. I'm with Beaver. I'm split on it. I can't decide.
Another really good fight I like, and actually one I'm really leaning on this side of it, is I really like C-Rod, Christian Rodriguez. He just defeated Raul Ruas Jr., and I think that confidence boost. Raul Jr. just got another win, a first-round TKO at that UFC Noche show. And I just think that confidence boost of like, whoa, I defeated that kid, and he keeps on winning. The UFC keeps on pushing him. And I know the kid that he's fighting is a really tough kid too, but I just think C-Rod, the gym he's at Rufus, and he's got the Pettis brothers behind him. I think C-Rod's a really tough kid. He's really good on the ground. He's good standing. He doesn't have a lot of holes. I think C-Rod's going to get the job done Saturday night.
I like that pick as well. I was actually initially I was surprised to see Saman as an underdog, and then the more I thought about it, I was like, man, he can struggle with the takedown defense sometimes. And Christian Rodriguez has phenomenal wrestling and really good control. I expect him to utilize that and chew up a lot of time, like on top.
Absolutely. Wow, guys. I think we did it. We got under 30 minutes. We got Ryan Quinn, got Edson Barboza as an underdog. I really like the best bet, 3.5 in the main event. 3-5 parlays are looking awesome. We talked about Usman versus Chimaev. We're like 10 days away. We talked about Volkanovski versus Islam Makhachev in a rematch for the 155-pound strap. Guys, we did it. Anything else on the table? I think we're done.
Yeah, nailed it.
Happy fight week, folks.
Nailed it. All right, guys. Next Wednesday night, 9 o'clock on this very channel. Fight Bananas YouTube, Fight Bananas Facebook, and of course on millions.co. Next Wednesday night, UFC 294. We're going all in. We're going to see how big of a favorite is Khamzat Chimaev. Right now, he's minus 360. I'm going to guess he's going to be minus 500 100 by the time we're going to be here next week against Kamar Usman. Are you betting on Volkanovski as a dog, or are you going with Makhachev? So much to get into next Wednesday. But before that, next Tuesday, around 1 p.m. Eastern, the Fight Banana Show live. We'll be talking to you guys then. Dave Van Auken, L. Dawson, the mighty Ryan Quinn. We'll talk to you guys next Wednesday night. See you guys then.